Well, I'm in the backwoods of northeast Florida. All I have is this machete, no water, no food. I'm going to be out here for several hours. It's going to be up to me to provide for myself. Can I do it? Well, probably, because I'm 5 minutes from the house. Listen, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. A fun rendition today, guys. Listen, JR hit me up. He said, brother, I've got a crazy machete I'm going to send you. I need it like a hole in the head, but I thought it would be great for a video. It's the Lt Stroud survivorman machete made by Lt Wright. Now, here's the deal. One, JR, thank you, man. JR, guys, is a huge part of this channel, and he allows us, because of his generosity, to review stuff that normally we wouldn't get a chance to review. If we're just being honest, he's found stuff I didn't even know existed. So here's the pluses on this thing, okay? I love Lt Wright. They have their own playlist on the channel. They're an American-made maker. They do everything is first rate. That's a custom leather sheath. It's gorgeous, the stitch work, everything. Everything that Lt Wright does, I love. I've never in my life put my hands on an Lt Wright and said, damn, I wish it was a little sharper or fit and finish was better. Guys, the fit and finish on this thing is amazing. Secondly, Lt Stroud. Les is one of my favorite guys in that genre. I watched the show when it first came out, and recently I just went down the survivorman rabbit hole. I love his take on survival. I love that whole attitude that he has. It's a common sense approach. And when JR mentioned this to me, I was ecstatic. Now, let me point this out. You see up top is the lanyard hole. Guys, that's because the machete is a quick pop cutter. Let me say that again. A machete is a quick pop cutter. Now, there's going to be guys, by God, it's got to be bomb-proof and half-inch thick. Yeah, and you'll be dead in about 3 minutes trying to swing it. This thing is light, it is fast, and it is purpose-driven. I adore it. Let's talk about it. This is the Lt Stroud survivorman machete. It is 3/32 thick. It is made of 1075 high carbon steel. Now, you've seen the balance point there. And here's some more proof on the sharp. Man, this thing's sharp as shit. You're going to hear that throughout the thing. The handle scales are canvas micarta, so they contoured to the hand very, very, very well. Really nice. The overall length is 19 1/4. The blade length is 12 7/8, and the cutting edge is right there at it, okay? The handle length is 6 1/4. The inner grip is 5 inches. There's not a hand on this planet that cannot swing this or hold this machete. It weighs 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. So it's light in hand, it's quick, it's sharp, it is a popper, it is a slasher. Now I want you to note, when you get done watching the video, go back to the first part. That was about a 3 or 4 inch diameter tree. I wasn't trying to hit it with power, but if you notice those quick pop chops, we're driving deep. We're hitting a lot of stuff, guys, that's dying and dead. And let me say this to my dear tree-hugging friends who I love with all my heart. This is private property that I'm clearing off anyway, okay? So, all of this stuff, too, will grow back times 1,000. So we don't cut down oaks, we don't cut down pines, we don't do that crap. But these hacking bush trees and these camphor trees and things like that, we're going to get rid of them. We're clearing out. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to use this machete to do some actual work. You know, you get guys on here to test it, and I'm one of them. Shit. You know, we do tests and we do demonstrations and we do all this. Some of my favorite videos are simply putting in work. The handle has a great palm swell on it. It really, really does. If you followed the channel for any length of time, guys, when I first started, I had a ton of machetes on. I love machetes. Like I said, I've used them my whole life, or I might not have said it. If you don't know, typically every video I talk about being a novice, this, that, or the other. But I spent a decade in underground utility locations, surveying, etc. I grew up in South Georgia, in Hazelhurst, as a matter of fact, on the Altamaha River. The survivorman that Les did on the altamaha is one of my favorite episodes because I know that area well. So I've had a machete in my hand since I was a kid. I grew up northeast Florida, southeast Georgia. The thing about a machete in the South is this: it is our go-to, right? Now, the guys in South and Central America are amazing. They EDC these things. They know what they're doing with them, okay? I'm nowhere near that level. I won't pretend to be. But I will say this: I've swung one enough to get a pretty good informed opinion on one. My opinion on this one, this is one of the best ones I've ever held seriously. I mean, just being honest. It's light, it's fast. Here, watch. We're going to do some quick clearing the brush. And notice I'm not trying to kill it with one swing. I'm not trying to just, impress you with my swinging power. Instead, I was out here for a couple hours. I wanted to put in some work. I wanted to see how it felt on my shoulder. Right now, I've got severe tendonitis, arthritis, and every other kind of itis with tendons calcifying in my right shoulder. I'm right-handed. This, honestly, did not bother me at all. It really didn't. It cuts, 1, 2, 3 cuts, and it's through. And I didn't have to just come out of my shoes. You see that sharp edge there at left? I did not have to come out of my shoes to get results. That's what I look for in a machete. I want something sharp. I want something light. I want something balanced. I want it well made. This one speaks to me on all kinds of levels. You'll notice this video is a little longer. That's kind of by design. I had a lot of footage. Some I probably should have left in, some I took out. But I really just wanted to get the putting in work part, right? This thing held up. Its edge held up. It won't take a lot to maintain it. And I would like to say this too. It has a very, very toothy edge. It has a rough edge. I love that on my machetes. It'll slice right through with the right amount of power, but it will also let me feather stick. It'll also let me slice some tougher materials. It'll let me do some work that I need to do. It cuts the ratchet straps. It cut everything. I was super, super impressed with this edge. We hit a lot of, in northeast Florida, man, we have oak and we have a few hardwoods, but very few. But most of the time in the woods and the swamps and stuff that you see me in, this is the kind of stuff we use. That's why machetes are so important. And again, all this stuff's coming out anyway. And I made it a point not to try to one cut anything. I wanted to get quick chops in because I wanted to see if it would fatigue me. I wanted to see what the knife can do. All too often, and the more I do this, the more I come to realize all too often, it's more about the reviewer and less about the knife. It's more about the reviewer's skill set, less about the knife. It's more about the reviewer swinging for the downs and I am to blame a lot for that. So we're moving in a direction where we let the tool work, and I'm going to give you the results best I can. That's all I can do. I will say this: it has a 90-degree spine, which is awesome for striking a ferrocenium rod if you need to, and we do that at the end. It has a lanyard hole near the top of the handle. That is not a weak spot. Lt Wright does a phenomenal job on their heat treat. And when you use a cutting, slashing, hacking tool like you are supposed to, this thing will last and last and last. I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and then we're going to come back and do our causes. All right, guys, I just wanted you to hear some of the ting, and I love that sound. And I wanted you to notice too, again, we just pop chopped a little punji stick spear type thing. I wanted to explain too, a lot of these small camphor trees start off as weeds. If you wonder why I hack them up, process them up like I do, and make them smaller and smaller and smaller, when they dry out and you have a fire going, like last weekend, Kirk and I were out, wanted to burn some of this stuff up. Everything was soaking wet. We took a little fat wood and took some dried out camphor, which is like jet fuel. And if you haven't tried it, you should. When it's dried out, and you'll notice I cut them down to almost nothing. Some of that's to show the knife, but a lot of it too, like on certain things right here, I'm cutting it down so that when it dries out, I'll have a lot of little twigs. It don't take but a handful of them twigs and a little bit of pine fat wood, and that thing is like a flamethrower. So that's kind of why I do that. Guys, before we get too far into it, there was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now, stats are everywhere. Coming off a holiday, coming off the weekend, it's higher. It's really between 15 and 29, which is just, any number is over zero is staggering. That's why we focus on the number zero here. I back the blue. It's a personal choice that I made a long time ago. I've been arrested. I've been harassed. I've done all that. And I have my reasons for saying what I say and doing what I do. What I'm not going to do is try to shove it down your throat. These are just causes that I have on my channel that I believe in. I think everybody should have things they believe in. Finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. And that's very, very important to this channel. Well, guys, here we go. The last, 3 minutes. I'm going to talk for a minute or two, and then we're just going to kind of let it carry itself out. These vines, there's several kind of vines in Florida. A lot of time you have those water vines that'll choke a tree out, and you can use them actually as a water source. There are wild muscadine vines. There are all kind of vines. There are also those damn thorn vines, and I got into a mix of them today. If you've seen blood on my right pointer finger, man, I cut the shit out of myself on one of them thorns when I was swinging. That's why I wanted to bring the knife out here. In all of this, and you'll see at the very end, there you see my finger there. The thing that impressed me about the knife is the way it maintained its edge. Now, all knives can start off sharp, every one of them. All knives have a certain amount of edge retention, okay? We don't do long form, long bodied reviews. We just don't. We pull them out of the package and we go. And a lot of the reason for that is for the simple fact we get so much stuff in. JR keeps me loaded up. A lot of you guys keep me loaded up. And we do have companies that send stuff. I try to let you know when they do. But for the most part, we stay busy with a ton, and I mean a ton of knives to review, and I am incredibly thankful for that. So I'm not able to give you long-term results. That's why in these videos I cut as much as I can. I chop and slash as much as I can. I like to think we probably get a couple weeks, several weeks of cutting in one video. We just do. So I can tell you that the edge held up very well for the amount we used it. Very, very pleased with it. It can still slice paper, and you'll see that here. Do I like the machete? Oh, I love it. Les, you killed it, brother. Lt Wright, you guys are some of my favorites, man. I love y'all. I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son. I'm going to start calling it Survivorman.